Hello, my name is Andrew Boswell, and welcome to my question of value, history and context speech for argumentation. This presentation is about permanent daylight saving time, and I picked this topic because I believe it is an issue that affects all Americans. This topic is especially relevant today because of the Sunshine Protection Act passed by the US Senate last month, which seeks to make daylight saving time permanent as of November of 2023. Today, we are going to talk about the beginnings of daylight saving time. We're going to talk about changes made to modern daylight saving time. And we're going to talk about current public support for permanent daylight saving time. My first question was, when did daylight saving time begin? According to Politico, the Standard Time Act was signed in 1918 by President Woodrow Wilson as a response to the other major powers of World War I, which had already enacted daylight saving time in some form in the years prior. Unfortunately, it was repealed in 1919 because of pushback from the agrarian community, which represented a majority of the American population at the time. Farmers tend to get up early, and they did not appreciate having one less hour of daylight in the morning. Then the Wartime Act was passed in 1945 to boost production hours during World War II. It was allowed to expire after the 1 year. Finally, modern daylight saving time was created by the Uniform Time Act of 1966. This also created the modern time zones. My next question was, has modern daylight saving time remained the same since 1966? According to the Smithsonian Magazine, the year-round daylight saving time experiment was signed into law by President Richard Nixon in January of 1974 as a 2-year experiment. It was a response to the national gas crisis created by OPEC in the early 1970s. The idea was that Americans would use less energy if they had an extra hour of daylight in the evenings. As you can see, based on this data from a New York Times article from 1974, public opinion initially was for permanent daylight saving time. Just 2 months after the poll was initially run, there was public opinion cratered. It proved to be so unpopular that it was repealed by legislation signed by President Gerald Ford in October of 1974. According to the Department of Transportation, no energy savings were recorded. So how much public support is there now for permanent daylight saving time? According to a recent poll by Monmouth University, the majority of Americans prefer to have no clock changes. That means either having permanent standard time or permanent daylight saving time. Of those who support having no clock changes, the vast majority support having permanent daylight saving time. As you can see, there is not as much support now as there was in 1974 for permanent clock changes, for permanent daylight saving time. Today, we talked about the history of daylight saving time from the Standard Time Act of 1918 until the Uniform Time Act of 1966. Then we talked about the permanent daylight saving time experiment of 1974. Though public opinion initially showed that permanent daylight saving time was popular, once it was implemented, public opinion dropped significantly. Finally, we talked about the current public support for permanent daylight saving time, which, as we noticed, is less now than it was in 1974. So we've tried it before, and now we'll try it again. There's exactly the same amount of daylight and darkness in each day now as there was in 1974. We haven't really saved any daylight at all. Will the results be different this time? Will the Sunshine Protection Act prove popular? Only time will tell.